Hi everyone, and welcome to Technical Writing, English 3153. I look forward to this semester with everyone, and I'm going to take a little bit of time right now as we begin the semester to tell you a little bit about the course. So, first of all, this is a picture of me. I hope that you will come visit me in my office. I am in Kate Center 2, room 206. Please check my office hours and do feel free to come by during them at any time. You do not have to email, just come by. If my office hours happen to not work for you, I am happy to try to accommodate otherwise because I want to get to know you and I want to help whenever I can. So please come see me. Real quickly, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I've been teaching technical writing online specifically for years now. I am a faculty member in the first year composition department, so I specifically focus on first year comp and technical writing. I have all of my degrees from the University of Oklahoma, so I'm very familiar with it, and I specialize in rhetoric actually. But I have a strange experience that most people that work in English and rhetoric do not, in that I actually was an AutoCAD technician for land surveying and civil engineering firms for 5 years. It's what I did as I was getting my bachelor's degree. So I have experience outside of academia and outside of English and rhetoric that is particularly helpful for me for teaching this course. I know I have a range of majors, but a lot of you are in engineering or you do use AutoCAD for certain things, and that is one thing I also have experience in. So I particularly enjoy being able to combine my 5 years experience in the field of engineering and land surveying with my actual education, my teaching. So that's me. Now let's talk about the course, which is the most important part. So first of all, the materials that you'll need for this course. You will only purchase one book the entire semester, and that is Steve Krug's Rocket Surgery Made Easy. You will use this book for Unit 2, the usability test. Please be sure to get the book. You can also share the book. If you know other people taking tech writing, go in on it. It is not an expensive book. It is not hard to find. It is not hard to get. I believe there are also digital, you can get, a Kindle copy, but you will need it. It's an important book. A lot of the parts of it you'll actually be using. You'll be borrowing his scripts and things like that. So be sure that you have that by Unit 2. Also feel free to share with other people who you might know that are taking it this semester. I know this is online, so you're not going to see one another as much, but you might know someone else who's taking it. You don't need the book individually, but you do need to have access to it. Also, we are going to have selected chapters from a textbook on technical communications by Paul Anderson, but I am supplying all of those in PDFs, so you do not need to buy the entire textbook. I have made copies of those, and I will be sharing them with you, so you don't have to go and buy a giant textbook. All other readings will be available online, either through PDFs or I'll offer the links. So the only thing that you need to get is the Steve Krug book. Like I said, it's not expensive. It's not hard to get. So be sure to get it or go in with someone else and share it. All right, some things that you need to know about technical writing. So this course is all about the communication of technical information to lay audiences and other technical audiences. So you all are studying a range of fields right now. So there's no way that I can pick, only things that work for one field because I have so many different majors. You're all in STEM, but you're doing different things. So the key takeaway from this class is we're going to learn how to communicate technical information to lay audiences, to people who aren't in our field but still need to know about our field or about different technical devices or subjects. This course is a reading, production, and discussion course, so you're going to be doing all three. So because we're not face-to-face, you're going to have discussion board posts, reading quizzes, things that we would generally take care of in the classroom, but we can't. So nothing that I have assigned as busy work. It's all important information that you need to know, but because we aren't coming in and talking face-to-face, we have to kind of visit that information in different ways. So we're going to be doing that through the discussion posts, through daily assignments, and through quizzes to help you kind of engage the readings and discuss them a little bit and have some direction in how you should be taking them in. Be sure that you are participating in the discussion. This is required in the course. It's one way that I can gauge your engagement in it since I don't get to see you face to face. And then here's the important part. All the documents created in this course hold the potential to be writing samples in the future, so treat them as such. We've actually had many students who have taken this course who use their documents, anywhere from the application packet documents that we'll be starting out with, your resume and cover letter, to the actual documents that we are going to create in the other 3 units. So treat them as that. You might be able to use them as samples to get a job. We've had a lot of people do that. We also have students that go on to be technical writers, and they use these to demonstrate what they can do. So take that into account whenever you're writing these, that it's not just for a class grade. You might be able to use this when you go on the market. That's what we really hope. That's how the class has been crafted. So here's some common errors that happen in the online course in particular. So not logging onto Canvas daily. So I have the course set up to where your daily assignments are due on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:59 p.m. So you can bet that's when they're going to be due. You still need to log in daily because when we do discussion posts, when we do peer reviews, you might have due dates that are a little bit different. And this is to give you time, right, to actually respond to posts. So just be sure that you're checking in daily to make sure that you're getting everything finished, that you're getting your responses complete, that you're getting your peer reviews complete, which are very important in this class. I'll also post in the announcements often, little tips, little tidbits, little reminders. So it's just helpful to hop on, see if I posted anything, make sure you got everything up to date. That's going to be your best course of action to making sure that you're on the ball. I do not have problems with this class being on the ball. I love teaching this class because you're all well into your university career. Many of you are about to graduate and you've all been doing tough work, but your tough work can sometimes bog you down and you forget about your online courses. So just be sure that you're logging into Canvas. Be sure that you are reading the assignment sheets, the prompts that I give you at the beginning of each unit in depth. Big helpful point here, read the rubric as well. So the assignment sheets can be a little bit wordy because I have to give you a context that you're writing into. If the wordiness seems to bog you down, go to the rubric and focus on that. I offer the rubrics that I use for grading at the end of every assignment sheet, and that breaks down exactly everything that I'm looking for, exactly what you're going to be graded on. So use those rubrics also to help give you kind of a checklist of everything the assignment needs. I do not deviate from the rubric. I will not count off points that are not included in that rubric. So use that as well as the actual assignment prompt that gives you the context. Using those together, you should have no questions about what you need to do for the assignments. I also do these lectures at the beginning of each unit to break them down some more, but going back to the assignment sheet and the rubric breakdown is always going to help make sure that you're hitting all the main points. Another common error is not turning assignments in on time. You'll notice in the syllabus that I do not accept late work on daily assignments. So if you miss it, it's a 0. You get 2 get out of jail free cards. Because in my face-to-face classes, I let people have 2 freebie absences. So you get 2 get out of jail free cards. If, the week's been crazy, you somehow missed an assignment, something happens and you don't get it turned in, you can use one of these cards. The caveat here is that it has to be used within 1 week of the assignment, and you still have to complete the assignment. The reason it has to be within 1 week is because these aren't just busy work assignments. They're actually used to help you kind of scaffold the skills or the process of whatever unit we're on. So if you don't do it within a week, it is just pointless busy work. So there's no need for you to go back and do it. So be sure if you miss something that you let me know, hey, I want to use my get out of jail free card, and then you use it within 1 week. Otherwise, it will be a 0. Not keeping up with daily work is another, which is part of the not turning in assignments on time. Just be sure that you're keeping up with everything. Again, this is usually not a problem in this class. Students in my tech writing classes are awesome, but just be sure that you do that. Like I said at the beginning, this is an online course, so I have to do discussion boards, quizzes, things like that to make sure that we're engaging all the course material. So that does mean that we do have consistent homework, right? Because we're not showing up to class. So just be sure that you're on top of it. None of it's super tough. It's just getting you to engage, to think about the materials, to think about the ways that they can help you craft better documents. And then not asking questions. You can ask me directly through email or during office hours, anything at all. You have questions, you have concerns, you have any problems, any complaints. I have an open door policy. I want to hear them. I want to help you. Don't get frustrated. Don't feel overwhelmed. I am here at any time. So be sure that you're always asking questions. You're contacting me with anything that you need at all. There is no such thing as asking me too many questions. That's what I'm here to do, is to help you along and answer those. Okay, so let's look at the main assignments that we're going to do. So we're going to start out with the application packet, which are your resumes and cover letters. The second assignment, which is worth the most of all 4 of them, is the usability test proposal. The third, we will be doing a popular translation proposal. And our final assignment is the instruction set. So you don't have a comprehensive final. Your final is just turning in the final assignment, which is the instruction set. You may do group assignments on any of these except for Unit 1. So I want you to keep that in mind as we're working. If you want to do work within a group, email me at the beginning of the unit. I'll send out reminders. But be sure to email me and let me know. If you happen to be taking this course with someone that you know, become partners with them. Utilize group work to help kind of delegate different components of the assignments. I know group work can be a little bit tough online. That's why I do not require it for anything. I used to. My students didn't like it, so I got rid of it. But I've also had people, when I made it optional, when people do work in groups, it works out really well. The usability test, Unit 2 in particular, it's a 3-part assignment, so I would really recommend working in groups with that, because it just helps kind of spread the work out a little bit. And we have plenty of time. We have 5 weeks for that. So that's one I definitely would. The popular translation proposal can be a little bit more difficult, because you have to, in this one, you choose a miscommunication in your specific field. So the one kind of tough part to that is that you would have to be working with someone who is has the same major as you to do that. But I usually have about 4, different majors. So you can find that. If I need to set up a, hey, everyone who's in mechanical engineering, contact me. Everyone in information studies, contact me. I can do that if you want. So just, contact me. If you want to do that, you're interested in the pop trans, getting with someone who has the same degree as you or major as you, let me know and we'll try to work that out. It could be a little bit tough. So that one I might do solo if there's one that I would. And the instruction set is another one. It's during the final. You'll be going into finals as you're doing this, of course. So you decide if you want to work with someone. Again, though, you need to decide right at the beginning because you're going to have to decide together what instruction set you want to put together. But any of these you can do in groups if you want to, or if you do not want to mess with that, since it's an online course, I totally understand. You can do those individually. It's up to you. You just need to contact me to let me know so I can put people in groups and let everyone know who their group members are. You're also welcome to pick group members if you know anyone in the class. So those are your options on that. So key to this course is that it's all about user-centeredness. So this quote that I have here is from a man named Donald Norman, who is the author of a book called The Design of Everyday Things, and he is known for his user-centered design. He teaches design. So he says, most accidents are attributed to human error, but in almost all cases, the human error was the direct result of poor design. So basically what Norman is saying is that it is not the user's fault whenever they can't figure something out. It is the designer's fault. So he puts all the responsibility on designers. So engineers that are designing these things, technical writers that are creating documents. And so that's what our course is really focused on, is the way that we move from assuming that everyone ought to know what we know as specialists in the field to we think about how we can craft everything that we make to be very user-centered, to talk to the lay audience. Because no matter how many great things our field does, if the public doesn't understand what we're doing or what we're telling them, it doesn't matter. So that's key to this, right? This is where I combine my experience as a project coordinator and AutoCAD technician for civil engineers and land surveyors with my focus on rhetoric. Because I can tell you firsthand also, when I worked in civil engineering and land surveying, I also dealt with a range of people as I worked on projects, right? I worked with land surveyors, I worked with civil engineers, I worked with architects, I worked with lawyers, I worked with ODOT, I worked with all these people, and I had to be able to kind of think about my audience every time I shifted gears to explain projects or what we were doing, and I know how important that is. It helps build ethos, and it just helps everything run smoothly when we know how to clearly communicate for the specific user, for the specific audience. So now let's go to, I'm going to offer you an example really quickly of this user-centered design that happened in real life that we can see. So prescription bottles, right? These are poorly designed. And these are really important. They're prescriptions, right? They're medication. So when you look across these, you can see some inconsistent labeling. The branding is the clearest, right? I know that this is from Target. I do not know as much how to take it, what the warnings are, what the dosage is. So they make the brand, which is the least important, the most important. They're confusing numbers that I don't know what they mean. Don't know what they go to, the curved shape. So when you think about your users, when you think about the demographic that is using this most, now of course, any age, any demographic can be using medication, but the demographic that is almost guaranteed to not just take one medication, but maybe several, are the aging population, right? People who might have arthritis, people whose eyesight is not what it used to be. People who have trouble opening lids or grasping things. So the curved shape, the way that it is shaped, isn't ideal for someone who might not have the strength that they used to, the agility, the dexterity of their fingers, their digits, right? So the curve shape is not user-friendly for the common demographic here. The tiny type isn't great for eyesight. That's not what it used to be. And then there are pill-off instructions. So if you've ever taken a medication, you might recall that you have to peel back the label to see the instructions, which isn't really helpful if you have trouble grabbing tiny pieces of adhesive paper to pull them back. Again, you think about the population that's going to need this most. That's not handy for it. So someone named Deborah Adler noticed this. Adler actually designed this prescription or this pill bottle because of an accident that happened in her own family. So she had grandparents, aging grandparents, and one of her grandparents accidentally took the wrong medication because she couldn't tell the difference between she and her husband's medication. That can have dire consequences, right? This is where design is really important. So Adler noticed, right? She looked at all the problems, those bad design places that I just pointed out, and she fixed them. So what she did was she created this design. So you can see here, instead of the branding at the top, we have what the medication actually is and its dosage in bold, large print, right at the top. Most important information comes first. That makes sense, right? These little circles right here, they go on the bottle, and these are assigned to every member of the household. So if you are 89 years old and you can't see tiny print anymore, because I'm not even close to 89 and I have problem reading pill bottles, you don't have to wonder if it's your medication or not, because if you've been designated blue and it has yellow on it, it's not yours. So it's a really quick, easy way for for the population who has failing eyesight to be able to automatically know if it is their medication or not. You also see that the most important, they give you like a hierarchy of information. So first it's what it is and the dosage, then it's how to take it. It's clear, it's right under it, it's in larger print. Take 1 capsule by mouth 3 times daily. It's not buried in stickers that are the random warnings. It's not put in some pill-off label that's impossible to get. It's right there at the beginning. And then the warnings. So you all are young, so you probably don't have to deal with this as much, but I'm sure everyone's had the flu, had a cold, had surgery at some point here or there that you've had to take a medication. And you'll notice, we go back to here, the labels are just stuck all over the place. You have to kind of search around the bus. It's like a scavenger hunt to find out what the warnings are. Again, really important information that shouldn't be hard to find. So Adler put cautions, and again, she uses kind of a hierarchy of information. This is in red. I'll let you know here are all the things that you need to do or not do as you're taking this medication. The important information is not impossible to find. So she fixed all the problems thinking about what populations that most often take multiple medications or prescriptions needed most. That is user-centered design. And this seems easy enough, right? But it can literally save the life of someone. When someone takes the wrong medication, takes a medication that's not theirs, takes a medication and doesn't know what all the warnings are, that can have dire consequences. So design is important, right? These things are really important. So now let's go and talk about, instead of just users, let's think about it in a rhetorical sense of audience. So that's going to be key to this. What I'm going to look for consistently in every assignment that you do is the way that you take audience into account. This is critical. And again, this is where I combine the emphasis of my field, rhetoric, with what I know about any communication, but technical communication in particular. We've got to know our audience and we've got to know how to speak to them. So we use rhetoric, right? What is rhetoric? I noted in my infographic that a problem with my field is no one knows what rhetoric means. I guess that I've been in it so long and I write about it extensively. I assume that everyone knows what I mean when I say that I teach and write about rhetoric, but they don't. So key to rhetoric are these concepts that I'm sure many of you heard or might remember from your English 1 and 2 classes, but it's ethos, pathos, and logos. And these are things you want to pay attention to the entire time you're doing anything in this class. So ethos is just credibility of the author. You need to establish ethos in any document that you write. You do this in a number of ways, and you do it differently based on your audience. So if you're talking to your boss and you're creating a proposal, you establish ethos in a different way than if you're talking to the lay public and trying to convince them that they need to better understand fracking or how weather works or how the library system works, right? Your ethos is important, but you don't establish it the same way every time. That's something I want you to think about every single time you're crafting an assignment. Pathos is the appeal to emotions. So we're human beings. We all respond emotionally to things in one way or another. Fear can get us to act. Anger can get us to act. These are the worst things to appeal to because we throw away logos, right? The last one, logic. So it's better to, and I believe more ethical, to kind of respond to people's desire to want better for themselves, better for the public. But you have to make appeal to pathos to really kind of establish a connection with the audience. So I want you to think about that as well, right? And then also, when is it appropriate to use pathos and when do you leave it out? You probably don't need an emotional appeal so much whenever you're writing a cover letter than when you're trying to communicate something important to the lay public, right? To a lay audience. So think about pathos, think about how effective it is, and think about when you use it, why you use it, and how you use it. And then finally, there's logos, which especially in STEM, this is really important, right? This is appeal to logic. This is using facts. This is using research. This is using information. I want you to use logos in all that you do because this means you are showing that you are learned, that you know what's going on, that you're relying on facts and not opinions. This is important no matter what you're doing. So as we go through each of our assignments, I want you to keep these kind of appeals in your mind. I want you to think about when you use them, how you use them, and how they need to be crafted to speak to the specific audience that will change as we go throughout the different units. All right, so some tips for this course. Please watch the lectures. These are really helpful. I go into more depth on every single assignment. I give tips. I give helpful tidbits. I try to do what I can't do in online courses in the lectures by kind of clarifying things that might not be as clear, by giving you some helpful information, by offering examples. So be sure that you watch the lectures. Like I said in the beginning, read the rubrics at the beginning of the assignments. Those are going to help you kind of get really zeroed in and focused. It gives you like a checklist of things that you need to do. So those are really helpful. It also shows you exactly how I'll be grading the assignment. Be sure to take your peer review seriously. I do. This is important to me. I read all of your peer review responses. So I am taking the time to read all of those responses to make sure that you're engaging, and I grade you on it. But it's not just because of the grade. Peer review is how you help your peers to take an okay product and make it a great product. Give the kind of peer review that you want. Focus in on what really needs to be done. Do not just say, this looks really good, because everyone can do something better. I want to see you make at least 3 suggestions on improvement, if not more, every single peer review. Also, be sure that you use the directions. I give directions for peer review to kind of like help you think about where you need to put your focus. So use those directions. Don't just do whatever you want. Read the directions that I give for peer review and do those. Also, if you all take peer review seriously, it's going to be a better class for everyone. So please put time and effort into it. This is a really important part. Also, when you peer review, use it to help yourself, to like take away cool things that your classmates are doing, to remind you of things that you're missing. The more you engage with this, not only are you helping your classmates, you're helping yourself. And then again, you're welcome to work in groups for all but the first unit. So get to know your classmates to break up the work and be sure that you're contacting me. We got to do this quick, and you have to figure out at the beginning of the unit because you're going to have to decide what your projects are going to be based around. But the more you can do that, I think, one, it's going to help you work in groups, which you're going to be doing constantly throughout your career. And two, it just helps kind of spread the work across a few different people instead of just one. All right. And then another quick note on peer review. If you notice, this is very important to me. Peer review will be, these are the one kind of assignments that will be at different times. So just whenever we come to a peer review, be sure to read the instructions that are in Canvas and also in your overall course calendar that I provide, because it will let you know exactly when your responses are due. I've tried to give you a little bit of extra time to do peer review. I don't have the drafts and the peer review due in the same day because that's too chaotic. So it makes the schedule a little bit strange, but I think it's more helpful. I've done this 100 different ways as I've been teaching this, and I feel the way that I have it now, where you have 24 hours to respond, is the best. So because I give you that extra time, I really want you to take it serious though, and help your classmates out. But that is the gist to this class. So I look forward to this semester, and just be sure that you do your syllabus quiz and your infographic, and let me know if you have any questions at all.